If you've ever been lost in a London Underground station, there's a good chance it was Bank Station. The first time I changed lines at Bank Station, I got a little lost in the winding underground passages. I genuinely thought I was walking the wrong way. Long corridors, endless tunnels, signs that seem to contradict each other. But here's the truth. Bank Station wasn't designed to be confusing. Bank Station is one of the busiest stations in London. Every weekday, hundreds of thousands of people pass through it. And yet almost everyone has the same experience here. Confusion. Some say it's faster to get lost than to find the right exit. But the story of Bank Station isn't bad design. It's too much history in one place, with layers of stories stacked in every corner and alley.
Why Bank Station feels like a maze.
Bank Station wasn't built by one company in one decade or for one clear purpose. The reason is that the earliest parts of today's station date back to 1890, when the City and South London Railway opened one of the world's first deep-level tube lines, connecting distant neighborhoods and rewriting the city's travel story. Just 10 years later, another company arrived underground, building its own platforms, its own tunnels. It forged an independent transit network. By the early 20th century, at least 4 different railway companies had built separate pieces beneath the same streets, conquering the tight underground constraints. Each section was designed to solve a short-term problem, moving clerks, traders, and messengers in and out of the City of London. Bank Station isn't unique in London, but it's the most extreme example. No single architect ever designed Bank Station. What we now experience as one interchange is actually the result of over 120 years of incremental construction, turning scattered tunnels into a connected transit system stitched together without ever clearing the site, growing incrementally over 120 years, linking disjointed segments. Inside Bank Station, you're not just moving sideways, you're moving vertically and historically. Each ascent or descent carrying you through over 120 years of incremental underground construction. Today, Bank Station connects 5 major lines: the Central, Northern, Waterloo and City, District and Circle lines. Some platforms sit more than 30 meters below street level. Others were constructed much later, closer to the surface to complement the maze of older, deeper tunnels. For much of its early history, the deep-level tube line relied on basic steam-powered trains and isolated ticket halls that were never meant to handle tens of thousands of people per hour, which leads to frustratingly long queues stretching far beyond their narrow entrances. Many of those original facilities no longer exist. What replaced them were long connecting tunnels that carved through the earth to link scattered platforms beneath the busy city streets, not because they were ideal, but because they were the only space available. That's why you walk so far. The historic fix for overcrowding required sprawling tunnels that span the old disjointed underground segments. You're not just changing platforms, you're changing levels, eras, and engineering styles. What feels like bad signage stems from the need to guide commuters through old deep-level lines is actually a compromise between space, safety, and history, and the unyielding constraints of a station stitched together without ever clearing the site.
Building the future inside a historic station.
Even today, engineers describe Bank Station as one of the most challenging projects on the underground. Not because it's old, but because everything depends on it. DLR operated entirely by computer from a control center, allowing passengers to sit for a panoramic view. The recent upgrades try to simplify Bank Station. Wider walkways, clearer escape routes, brighter directional signs and step-free access, sturdier emergency exits where it was physically possible. Today, Bank Station functions less like a single station and more like a carefully balanced machine, which is absorbing pressure, redirecting flow of commuters between old and new platforms, and keeping the city moving.
3 facts about Bank Station you don't know.
During World War II, many people are trapped in tunnels and parts of Bank Station were used as air raid shelters. Londoners slept underground, huddled shoulder to shoulder on cold platform benches to escape the bombs. The station wasn't just a transport hub, but a lifeline for Londoners to shelter from air raids. That legacy still affects how the station is structured today. Several passageways inside Bank Station were originally built for cables, ventilation, and also the maintenance access. Not passengers. Just like this. Over time, some of these spaces were widened and quietly absorbed into public routes. The disused deep-level segments were repurposed without fanfare. Unlike many stations, Bank Station is considered permanently unfinished. Engineers plan upgrades here in phases rather than endpoints, not because they lack the ambition, but because shutting Bank completely would shut down part of London's economy. Bank Station feels confusing because it was never designed as a finished object. It's a record of decisions made over more than a century, which is driven by urgency, limitation, and compromise. It's not a failure of design. It's the cost of keeping a city moving without stopping it to start again. Have you ever been lost in Bank Station? Or do you think it's unfairly blamed? Let me know in the comments. And in the next episode of Station Stories UK, we'll explore a London station that was abandoned.